Another edition of the Spyder's Web live from the Bucs room. I'm Spyder. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Spyder's Web on YouTube and Facebook. And on tonight's show, we're going to recap the Buccaneer draft. I'm going to tell you about some of these new faces, and I'm going to give you my final analysis on how I think the Buccaneers did in this draft. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. Now, anytime you can start out the draft with a proven player like Darrelle Revis, I think you won. I think that is a home run in itself. You get a player that automatically improves your secondary overnight. He can take your number one wide receiver and make everybody in that secondary that much better. Not only that, but Mark Dominic, kudos to him because he did the right thing. He held out. He won. He made the Jets submit. They only gave up a first-round pick and a third round next year, and he didn't even give Revis guaranteed money. So overall, a home run by the Buccaneer organization. Now in the second round, you stay put, you take the best player on the board, and you fill a need with Jonathan Bakes. And many draft pundits felt like this player was going to be a number one type player, number one first round selection. But because he ran a 4.5 in the 40, it dropped him down. Now, by all accounts, Banks was looked at as one of the best corners in college football, winning the Jim Thorpe Award. He's a physical corner that the Buccaneers like. And now, because you got Revis, you can slide him over to that side, play him at the 2 corner if Eric Wright doesn't play well, or you can play him at the nickel position. And if you're worried about his cover skills because he is a little bit slow, then you can roll that safety on that side and help him out because you have a player like Revis. So I think this is a good move by the Buccaneers. He may not be a starter, but overall he is one of your future players, and I think it's going to work out for the Buccaneers standpoint. Now, in the third round, they go out and they get Mike Glennon. Now I'm going to get back to that in a minute because I have some feelings about that. In the fourth round, you trade up with the Oakland Raiders and you get Hakeem Spence. Now, he's going to be looked at for the Buccaneers to come in here and replace Roy Miller at that defensive tackle spot. And hopefully he does that. Now, he's very versatile. He can play Gerald McCoy's position at the 3 technique, or he can be your nose tackle, which most likely Spence is going to be on opening day. He's going to take up room. Hopefully he'll help out in that running game, and hopefully he'll provide a pass rush. So overall, I like this pick. I think if it works out, it's a good move because that defensive line needs bodies, and Spence is one of those bodies that they're going to be depending on this year. Now, the extra pick that they got from the New England Patriots in the keep to leave trade was William Golston. And he is the cousin of Vernon Golston, the bust from the New York Jets. The number one guy that didn't work out. And William Golston kind of in the same mold at this point. Not in the NFL, but in college. He underachieved. But he has that body. 6'6", 281 as a defensive end. But only had 10 sacks in 3 seasons at Michigan State. But he's going to provide you with that rotation that you need. Because this team only had 27 sacks last year. So overall, the Buccaneers feel like they found a diamond in the rough in Golston, and hopefully it works out. In the 5th round, you draft a player like Steven Means out of Buffalo, who had 19 sacks in college, but he did most of that at the linebacking position. On this team and this system, I think he's going to be a defensive end. So you get another body to help out with that defensive line. And let's hope that that works out for them too. But I like this pick because, again, it fills a need, and you need to get bodies on this defensive line to rush the passer. We must make the quarterback go down and go down hard. And with these players, they have a prime opportunity to do that. Now, in the 6th round, after they trade LeGarrette Blount to the New England Patriots and also get Jeff Demps, who could be a returner, you get Mike James, who already is drawing comparisons to Ernest Graham. He's a hard-nosed back. He's everything that LeGarrette Blount was not here. He's a short yardage back. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He's not overly fast, but he can do the things that you need to do, that you need to have from a third down runner. So I expect James to start from the get-go. So overall, I think the Buccaneers did a hell of a job here in their draft. Now, here's my problem with the Buccaneers draft. And it goes back to Mike Glennon at the 3rd round pick. Look, I understand that you want to offer Josh Freeman all this competition, and that's all well and good. But basically, you draft a player that has the same traits as Freeman. He's big, he can throw the ball down the field, but he's inconsistent. He had 58% completion percentage at North Carolina State. Not only that, but he has difficulty in completing those passes that franchise and elite quarterbacks should complete. Does that sound familiar? It should, because it's the same thing as Freeman. So you brought in a kid that's probably not going to compete with Freeman this year when you had other needs on the table with a player like a Dontario Moore from Texas A&M. The Giants drafted him, defensive end, or a Jonathan Jenkins, a defensive tackle out of Georgia. Both of those players right there were players that could fill those needs. So you drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round to be your backup. And look, if Freeman does not work out this year, then Glennon is going to be your future quarterback. Are you happy with that, Bucs fans? I'm not sure. And here's the thing with Josh Freeman, and I did a little bit of more research on this, and I've been a Freeman fan, and I've sat back and I've said, Josh Freeman to me is the franchise quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But this is the thing. Freeman was one of only 11 quarterbacks that threw for over 4,000 yards last year. Now, what do all those quarterbacks have in common? They're not looking over their shoulder for competition. Why is Freeman doing this? Why are they doing this to Freeman? Well, it will tell you everything or who is behind this pick all along. It's Greg Schiano. He doesn't like Freeman. And really ask yourself, if you're a Buccaneer fan or just an NFL fan, do you think Freeman was the main problem of this team last year? Or do you think it was Greg Schiano's defense that was the problem? That will tell you everything you need to know about this pick. Look, Glennon may work out eventually as a player. He may be your future starting quarterback. I just think you already have that quarterback here. So, overall, I think the Buccaneers did a good job with the draft, but I didn't get the Mike Glennon pick. So you give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about the Buccaneers draft. Until next time, same Spyder time, same Spyder channel.